So, so the first thing that you need to know, and I mean, we're gonna go basic. So we're gonna start from the very beginning, that you have these apps over here. And when you click on the Google Apps, you have an option for Google Classroom. Sorry. You're gonna wanna create a classroom. Over here with your little plus is where you're either going to join or create. I'm gonna create one right now, and I'm gonna call it Webinars 2020. And I'm going to hit create. Now, if anybody wants to do this while I'm doing it, once it creates my classroom, I'm going to show you. So if you take your screen either side and you pull it, you should be able to minimize your the recording that I'm doing and open up a new tab on the bottom next to it.
You may have to click in the top right-hand corner where it says exit full screen to be able to do that.
Thank you, because I can't see that. Okay, so let's go back. So in my Google Classroom, I have one that says Webinars 2020. Now, one of the things that people ask about is once you create your class, you're going to get tons and tons of notifications. Over here under these 3 bars, if you go to the bottom into settings, this is where your notifications are for everything. You might want to turn off the email notifications. So I just want you to be aware that you're going to get a lot of notifications when you first start your class, because every time somebody types something or puts something in, you're going to get a notification, and some people are overwhelmed. Once you're in the class, you have a little settings icon, and I'm sorry, let me go back one second. So over under these 3 lines, you also have this little home. It says classes. It always takes you back to all your classes. If you have classes that need to be archived because your students will stay in them forever, you have these 3 dots right here that you can hit archive. So I'm going to archive a class so that way those people no longer see it as an active class. So the class is always there under archived classes. I can go back and see all the classes that I ever had, and all your information is in there, but the students won't see it the following year and try to send you messages through Google Classroom or have conversations that you didn't know were happening. So once I click on the class that I want, over here under this settings icon, this is the code that you're going to need right here, and you can hit display for your students to sign up. So if you have students at home or parents at home, they're going to click that join button, and this is the code they're going to need to join if you have them join with a code. You can also send them an email to join, so you don't have to have this code. You can have them do that. One of the things you want to be aware of is you want to maybe only allow the teacher to post in the beginning. If you want the students to make comments to each other, then you're going to leave students can post and comment. If you decide in the beginning that you only want the teacher to do it, you have more control if you choose only the teacher can post or comment. Down at the bottom, they actually have a grade book now, and it's up to you how you want to set this up. I probably wouldn't do the weighted by category because Progress Book now allows you to bring the grades over, so you don't want them to be weighted already in Google Classroom and then weighted again once they get uploaded to Progress Book. So if you want, you can just hit the total points. That way the students can just see the total points possible on Google Classroom, because you may not have every single assignment that you have in Google Classroom. You can, but you don't need to. You can also add grade categories. Again, I don't suggest that, because if you upload this into Progress Book, you've got to put it under one of the assignment categories in there anyways. So I would just let them see the total points possible. Also, while you're in here, you can edit any of these at any time if you decide that you want to add any kind of information. you can actually do that. And when I'm done, I'm going to hit save. So you notice you have some tabs at the top. You have stream, classwork, people, and grades. We are going to start with the people tab. Under the people tab, here is where you can add your co-teachers. So if I want to invite somebody to run this class with me, I just start typing their name and they actually show up, and I'm going to actually add Andrea and Rachel. So when I do that, they're going to see that they're going to get an invite from me. If you have students that you want to do, and I'm going to hit why are you not coming up? Nope, I don't want her, so I can cross her out. There you are. So if I want to invite Linda as a student, I would type her name and then I would hit invite. And you're going to see once you invite somebody in your class that they have to go to their email to see that they are invited to the class. So,
or they can go to Google Classroom and click accept.
Yes. If you have them go back to, sorry, I was changing the format for this. If I go back, if I have an invitation and I go to my Google Classroom, I will see that I have been invited up here at the top. One of these will say invite and they just have to hit accept. That's what it looks like on your side. So if Linda went to her Google Classroom and she went to the home button, she's going to see one and she just have to hit accept to join the class. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is the stream. So in the stream, this is where you're just going to communicate with your people that are in here. So whether it's students or parents, whatever you decide, when you click on share something, right here is where you start to add your information. The one thing I like about this is that if you have multiple classes, so if you're like, if you have two of a certain class, I can check both classes. And when I hit post, it will go into both classes. If I only wanted to go to one class, so that way I'm not, even though I have students in two classes, I may be teaching the same subject, so I want them to get the same message. That's how you can do it all. Send it like that. Also, if you have multiple students, let's see if I add this one. Let's see. I don't have any students in my class. You can actually choose the particular students under here that you want to send it to. It doesn't have to go to all your students. So if you just wanted this for your special education students, you can actually select them and put them in that way. One of the things that I love about this is that you can add just information you want the students to have. So if I go in there, I can actually go into my Google Drive, which I love, and it always takes you to your the most recent things that you were working on. And sometimes it takes a couple minutes. So let's just say I want to share this agenda with whoever's in the classroom. I can now see that this is shared to everybody. A couple other things you can do is next to post, you can actually schedule this. So if I don't want this to go out today, I can choose that it goes out Friday, and I can choose a time that I want it to go out and then hit schedule, and it actually saves at the top. You can also, if you get interrupted while you are doing this, you can save it as a draft. So if I hit save as draft, it will save up here at the top under this down arrow. I can click on it again and decide, oh, I'm going to post this now. So now I can hit post, and it will actually go into my stream for everyone to see. Now, if this information here is something I want the students to manipulate and I want them to write on it, so in other words, it's a worksheet, I would not put it in the stream. I would put it under classwork. The stream is just for communication for the students and parents or whoever you're talking to for information that they may need. So if it's an announcement, if it's a PDF, if it's like the morning meeting that you guys have that are videos, you can actually share it in here and the students can watch it individually. And that way, it's not something you have to worry about that you want everybody to get at one time. So the next tab is classwork. This is where all of the good stuff comes in. Now, you have a class drive folder here. This folder is where you would put if you have to have a syllabus or you have to have something that you want everybody to have for the whole year. You would drop it in here. That way they'd have access to it as soon as they get to the folder. That's what would go in here. Your calendar, which I love, will tell the students when their work is due if you put a due date in. So anytime they click on that calendar or you click on the calendar, it tells you when you have set an assignment that students have to turn in and when the end date is. So a couple of the options that you have in your classroom under Create, or you can create an assignment, a quiz assignment, questions, materials, reuse a post, which I love because you can do this from year to year. I can go back into any class that I've had, even the ones that I've archived, and I can reuse a post that I put up before. And there's a topic suggestion at the bottom. So I'm going to do, most of the things that I did were assignments. That's how I posted everything. So if I'm creating an assignment for my students, I'm just going to call it Classroom, Google Classroom, and you want to give instructions. And then I gave them that. Here's where I would add that Google file that I want them to manipulate. And it takes you to, again, your recents automatically. If it's something you want to upload from your computer, you can also go and upload it from your computer. But in my recent, so I'm going to put this Google Classroom, and it automatically defaults to students can view the file. But if I want them to manipulate it, I need to make sure I put make a copy for each student. If I click students can edit that file, that means that every student is going to be writing on the same piece of paper. So I don't really want that to happen. I want to make a copy for each student. Now over here, I can give it, it's automatically defaulted to 100 points. You can make this worth as many points as you want. I'm just going to say maybe 10. You always want to give it a due date. So I'm going to say Friday. Even if they turn it in after Friday, it will be available to them. It will just say late. And that will be up to you whether or not you want to give them a late score. But that's up to you. I would always put a topic in, because if you don't put a topic in, it's hard for the students to find assignments that you've given them. So let's say you're giving, adding and subtracting fractions, and you're going to be doing that for a week and giving it assignments. I would give it that topic. So that way when the kids are in progress book and they want to know what assignment that they're missing and you're like adding and subtracting fractions, they can go back and search by topic, maybe the assignments that you put up that way. So again, over here on the right, I can assign or I can schedule it to come out at another time, save it as a draft if I get interrupted, or I can throw it away if it's not right. So I'm going to go ahead and assign this. And it takes a minute or two for it to load. So now I can see when the students are in the stream, I can see right here at the top, it says I posted a new assignment, but also under classwork, these are the assignments that I expect them to complete. This is my topic, which is classroom right here. And this is the assignment that they need to do. As a teacher, when you click on this, this is the assignment that you've given them, but you don't see it like a student does. A student will have to click on this right here and it will open for them. It will open for them on their computer so they can manipulate it. Andrea and Rachel, I'm going to, did you guys invite everybody? If you guys want to go into your mail and join my class, you're welcome to do that. Rachel and Andrea, I'm going to remove you as an owner, and I'm going to have you guys join the class, so that way we can show how to grade something. Thank you, whoever added all those people in there. I appreciate it. Rachel. Because I think one of my favorite things when I use this as a teacher, and Andrea and Rachel could piggyback on this, is that you can actually view in real time as the students come in and as they're working on their work. I used to love that. Also, when you're in here, you can go to the instruction tab and you can see what information you gave to the students. You have these 3 dots over here next to how many points are there. If you click on that, it allows you to edit this assignment. So if you have a lot of students that are asking questions about an assignment, you can go in and be more specific and say whatever you need to say to make sure that they understand before they're asking you any questions. The other thing I forgot to mention is down here is that they now have rubrics that you can put in. So if you already have one that you want, or you can create one and you can give it as many points, and you can give it a title, and however you want to do it, they have those set up for you so the students know that they're out there. There's a ton already made that you could borrow, or as I like to say, steal from other people, and you can use them in here for your students. But you don't need to do this. You can or can't, it's up to you. So I'm just going to save this. And I'm going to go to student work, and I can see that Rachel and Andrea have been assigned this and they've joined the class. Can you guys go ahead and open the assignment? Because once they click on the assignment, you're going to see below them, there she is, that she's actually working on it. So if I open this for Rachel, she's going to start typing somewhere in her paper, and I can actually watch her as the teacher, that I know at my desk that she's actually working on this paper as I'm watching, which is important because a lot of times you're trying to do certain things at your desk and you have no idea what the students are doing at their desk. As I go down, I can look at who's in here and who's not in here. I'm gonna see where she's typing. Oh, I can see that she's right here right now. I don't know where where are you typing at, girl?
It's having trouble loading, so it's taking a second.
Sorry, I know the computer's a little bit bogged down, our internet right now, so it may take a few minutes. But I love that you can just go to the top and you can scroll down, and if Andrea opens hers, I'll see her name underneath here, and you'll see them as they show up, and you can grade them. So I'm going to go ahead and close this tab and go back here, and I can see people that have actually joined the class and have clicked on the assignment, or need to click on the assignment. How about that? So I can see that 4 people have this assigned. So one of the things I'm telling you that I loved as a teacher is that I didn't have to go very far to know exactly what those students were doing on their paper. So I can see that she's highlighting in her paper from my desk. I don't even have to go out. So this gives you kind of a heads up of what the students have worked on. So if you give them a blank piece of paper and they haven't typed anything on it, you're going to know by just clicking in the instruction in the student work on who has done what. You can see she's opened the worksheet. These people have not opened the worksheet. Again, one of my favorite things that you can do with this. Let me go back. So one of the other things that you can do is you can create a quiz. Now, in the Google slide that we shared with you guys, Rachel had an amazing idea. I don't know where she got it from, but it was amazing. You can create a topic that says today, and that way your students know that this is the work that's due today, because you can go in at any time and change that to whatever topic that you wanted. So if I want to give somebody a quiz today, oops, I'm going to give it a name. And this one is a blank one, but I already have one out there that I know that you guys are going to need to do for me at the end if you could, because we just need ideas for more webinars. So I was working on a survey. Luckily, I know where I put it. These aren't color coded right now. Tech integration. There it is. So I can delete this one because I already had a survey ready for you guys. Again, I can give it the number of points that I want, or I can put ungraded. I don't have to put any grade, and then I can give it a due date. You always want to give your work due dates. And then I'm going to pick today because I know that I want this done today. So when I hit assign, the students will see this is the work that they have to do today. The next day, if I'm still putting work up, I can go under these three dots. I can edit the topic over here, and now I can put it under classroom and I can change it so it's not the work that was due today. It's now under the correct topic. But the students at the very top can see exactly what work is due today. And I think that's really important, especially when they can get mixed up sometimes under these topic and not sure what's due and what's not due. Even though in your stream, it will show up the latest thing that you posted, sometimes students can still get confused. I also like that over here that it tells them when things are due. These things are due on Friday. But under classroom work as a teacher, I would let them know, I want this done today. Please do this today for me.
Can I just interject that
Absolutely.
you don't have to hit the three dots to go in and change it. They've updated it so you can just drag and drop where you want to put it.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's why it takes three of us working in my department. We have to work as a team. My reuse, like I told you before, is one of my favorite things. If I go into reuse a post, I can choose the class that I want to go to. So I'm going to pick this Google certification. And in here, I can say the introductory unit, and I can hit reuse. This will actually come up, and I can create an assignment from this. And I have all of my options in here. All my directions are in here. Everything that I did from the previous year is in here. Again, I always want to give something a due date. For me, I do. It always made me feel good because that way I knew that if the students turned it in after, it was okay. You can always change this due date later, but I always like to give the students something to achieve. If you don't give them a due date and they don't think anything's due, then nothing becomes important to them. So then I'm going to hit assign. Again, that's one of my favorite things. Even my topic has come over. So everything is there that I had before and I can reuse. So if you have a fantastic lesson that you have and you put in here your videos, your worksheets, everything that you want, you can reuse that from year to year. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every time that you have a classroom, which I feel is very important. There's also a tab for questions, which is nice. So you can just do a quick question, and you can question the class. I just did an easy one. Again, you have points over here. I'm going to leave this ungraded, and I'm going to give it a due date. I'm just going to give it Friday, and I'm going to hit ask the question. So now all the students in the class can see this question and they can answer it, and you start to get instant feedback on whatever it is that you're doing right there in the moment. So I really like this option about asking questions. I mean, you can do it on the fly, you can schedule them to come out, but I always like this option of asking questions to students to get their feedback. Girls, do you have anything that I missed about these under the classwork?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I guess maybe the only thing is if you have topics, you can move those up and down as well. If you wanted your today to be at the top or whatever.
I love when they update things and give us things that we like. It's really nice. And the best advice that I can give you is that every time I have a worksheet that's in Word, I make sure that my settings in Google automatically turn it into a Google Doc so it's editable by the students, and I can give that as a worksheet at any time. So I'm just going to show you that real quick. Is if you're in your in your Drive, it's actually under your settings button. Settings. And you're going to hit settings again. I have convert uploads on. That way, anything that I upload into my Google Drive automatically, if it's able to, becomes editable and becomes a worksheet. So that's one of my favorite things that I do, because I still have my original copy of Word on my computer, and then it automatically converts it into an editable document automatically every time. I don't have to worry about changing it every single time I upload a document. So are there any questions before I go any further? Because I've been talking for a while.
If you have questions, you can unmute your mic on the bottom left of the webinar screen, or you can type them in the chat.
Nobody has any questions.
Tiff, the only thing I'm seeing from your notes is like muting the students. Like if you have the students able to talk, you didn't show how to mute them. Like I know I automatically didn't let my students have the rights to chit chat because I thought it was their own Facebook page. But if they want the students to interact, they need to know if there's a problem, how to mute them.
Yeah, and that's under people. And if you check all the students, one of your actions here is mute. And I know that before they even join, you can actually set it over here to only the teacher can post or comment, which is the same thing as muting them. This is just a second way, if you forgot to, that if you hit that and then you hit mute, that nobody can still submit work, can't reply to their classmates, can't post. So if I hit mute, then all of those people can now not make any comments. And I can see there's a little red icon next to that I know that those people are actually muted. The ones that don't have the little mute on, then they are not muted.
But
so
they could still turn in their work even if they are muted though.
Yes, you can do anything you want. They just can't talk to each other, which sometimes causes an issue. Grades. So this is the new thing that they added. It was in beta last year, but they added it this year, which I loved. This is a good way to go in. And I can see that Rachel said that she turned in her assignment. So let's see, can I view? View. Yeah. Oh, that was the question. She said, yuck. So this was the question that I asked. At any time you can delete your assignments here. Returning them is how you allow them to redo them. If you don't return assignments, then they can't turn them back in, because once they turn them into you, they can no longer edit them. They don't have rights to edit them. As soon as they turn it in, you're going to have a date and a time that they turned in work. Once they turn it in, they will no longer be able to manipulate it. They'll be able to view it, but they can't type in it, change it. They'll have to unsubmit it. So as a student, they would have to unsubmit and then resubmit, which changes their date that they turned something in. So when I'm looking at this turned in, so she turned this in so I could give her a grade. And I can also add a private comment over here to the right. I could be like, great job. Keep up the great work. Please fix number 2. You did something wrong. This is where you'd want to do that. You also have a choice, which I really like, is you have this little comment right here. If I see that something here that she did was not correct, I can actually select what I want. There's my little comment, and I can say, please use proper grammar. Oh, and I can hit a comment. Now, the student would have to go in to see this. One of the things that you can do is that if you hit the plus and then I start typing the person's name, this actually sends them an email to fix whatever it is you want them to fix in their paper. But again, if I don't return it, they cannot change this. So there's nothing that they can do until I return this to the person. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to hit return. And then Rachel would get actually a notification that she has returned work and she can go and check it out. She's also going to get a notification that this area right here was incorrect and she needed to fix it. And the only person that can see that is myself and the student. Oops. So you have a choice to return each one individually, or once you're done, it will say return all. But since she was the only one that turned it in, I can't hit return all, and it will return all of these assignments that I have graded at one time. So let's see. So here's my information on the quiz about how do you feel about this webinar, and there's some answers for you, and everybody feels great. Pretty happy about that. This is her, like, again, one of the things that I like, I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, is that I can go in and see what each person has done as soon as I click on them. So one of my favorite things, like I said, you can go through and do that. I keep repeating myself, but I can't tell you that's one of my favorite things. I don't think there's anything else I need to tell you about the grade book. You can see that over here, it starts to give an overall grade just by the points that are in here. I would definitely let your students know that this is just your points for your Google Classroom, and this is not the total points for your class, because this may not include the things that you do offline. Some teachers like to, in their classwork, include the things that you're doing offline. So if somebody's absent for the day, you would create an assignment that would say, complete page 28 in math workbook. Okay, that could be your, I'm sorry, that would probably be the directions. And then the title would be like page 28. My topic would be math. I'm going to give it a due date, which would probably be today. And I'm not going to give it the points because it's going to be offline. And I can assign this as a student. If I want to know that they turned this in, they would go in to that assignment and just click turned in. They have an option on their side that says turn in. They don't have to put any work on it. They don't have to do anything else. Just hit the turn in button. This will tell me that I need to go over, because I used to have my students turn in all their work in separate bins. And then I would know that the person is done with this work. So on the fly, I could go in here and I could see who actually turned in work that they said. So if Rachel said that she turned in page 28, I would go over in the bin and her work would be in the bin. And that way I don't have to keep saying, where's page 28? Did you do page 6? Did you do page 5? All the work in my classroom is in here. Even if they didn't turn it in on here, they turned it in as a paper pencil assignment. They can still hit that turned in icon on their assignment. Wondering, Rachel, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Can you share yours? Let's see if you have an option to do that so they can see what it looks like on the student side as far as just turning it in.
Sure. So this is what it looks like. Obviously, if I go back into the classwork, it says page 28. I click on it, click view assignment. It's over here. And then I just have the option. I could either upload something if she wanted me to, or I have the option to just click mark as done. And click it over there. I do want to go back to the other assignment that I had turned in earlier, because I know someone said that they didn't know where it was. Again, if you just click right here, you have the option to click there. Otherwise, if you click view assignment, it's going to be over here. In the beginning, it was blurred out. It takes a minute to load.
What does the quiz look like on your side? Can you show me that?
Sure. How do you feel about this webinar? And it was just two options here, and I clicked one. Or you can go in to view questions, and they would be over here.
I like
So
that
I
it
know
shows
in the
me
older
the
Google
result.
Classroom, the choices used to be over here. Now, down below, and now they're to the right.
It's always interesting to see the student side because it never looks like what you would think as a teacher. And can you go back in? And I want you to, can you turn back in your assignment at the bottom? And see how she has the option. It actually says resubmit now. So go ahead and hit resubmit. And then would you open up the assignment that you did? And if she tries to change an answer in there or somebody gives her an answer, go ahead and try to click in there. It will not, can you change anything? Can you type?
No.
No, it doesn't let her. So that's, like I said, that's something that I really like is that once they turn it into you, that's it. So a student can't turn in an assignment to you on time and then go and change it and you're not grading it that day. They have to actually unsubmit it and turn it back into you. So that's one of the things that I always liked about it as a student. Can you go back one more time?
Into the classwork?
Yeah. Go into the classroom under today. Yep. This is something I'm going to need you guys to do at the end, just so you know, is the survey. So you can get to it through the classroom. If you didn't join the classroom, it's actually on the agenda that I sent out that was on where the link is to get into this webinar. So just some questions that we like. At the bottom, it says, what topics would you like presented? Can you just put, if you don't have anything, just put nothing. But if you have something that you would like us to present on, please let us know. A couple things that I do want to, can you stop sharing your screen now, Rachel?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
There is a question that says, do we automatically have convert uploads button?
Yes, I will show you where that is again. Let me see. Share. Okay, so in your Drive, you have to go into Google Drive. So you want to go over to your waffle that you have and click on Drive. Right next to your waffle, you have this settings button. And you go into settings, and this is where it will automatically, you have to check this box. And then you will never have to check it again once you do that. Now, the problem is, and let me see if I have any down here. So all of these documents, if they have these icons, see the little blue, that means that they're Google Docs. They are not Word documents. If you have a Word document, I don't even know if I have any anymore, they actually look like W's. So this will be a W. If you see a W, that means that that document was not converted, that you'll have to actually go into it, and it will ask you when you open it if you want to convert it. And you're going to have to click yes. And that's usually, there's usually black around it. And then it'll say that you want to convert with, and it tries to give you suggestions. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy. I thought I had one available, but apparently I've converted everything. Didn't think I did that. Let's see. Oh, the other thing that I wanted you guys to be aware of, I know not all of you are affected by this, but some of you are using Panorama. And out here, when you guys log in to Clever, you have this National Geographic. When you go in there, it actually gives you the codes for your students to get into National Geographic from home. I did it from my phone. So right here under more details, this is the username. Get in. The students go to student logins, and they would go down to the Panorama login, and they would use this username for first grade science, and they can open it on a phone or anywhere else. It opens the books. Once they open the books can be read to them. So I just wanted to share that because I know there's been a lot of questions. I've been getting a lot of emails about that. I don't know how many people in this webinar it affects, but I just wanted you to know that that was available. Do we have any more questions right now?
Tiffany,
Yes.
files that I have in my Drive, Word documents, how do I go outside of clicking that one button? Where do I go to change my Word files to?
Let me see if so I'm going to upload, I think I have a Word document on here, and I'm just going to put one in there so you can see what that looks like. I think this is one. Oh, I got to turn off my convert. So let me turn off my convert. And if somebody sends you a document that is Word, it does not automatically convert when you add it to your Drive. You have to actually convert that. So see how I get this W down here? And when I try to open it, it looks like this, right? Up at the top, you have this open with, and you should have an option of Google Docs. So then when I click on it, I will now have a copy of it as an editable document.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep. But I definitely suggest going into settings and clicking on that convert uploads. It just makes your life so much easier. So here's the document and it's pretty close. It's pretty close to what it was when they sent it to me. I might have to hit backspace right here. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be perfect. Maybe I can't because it's a table. So it's not perfectly perfect, but it tries to do it as close. Now, the other thing you need to know is I now have 2 copies of whatever it was I had in my Drive. I'm going to have it as a document, a Word doc still. You can see the W, and now I have it as a Google Doc. Are there any other questions that we can help you with right now? So if you guys are able to do all the things that we covered today, you would actually pass that section of the Google certification test about Classroom is every single step that we just did. And the only thing I can say is the best practice is to use it. Try one thing, try 2 things. Don't try to do 15 things. Just try one thing. Try just starting with the classwork, and don't necessarily grade it in the beginning, because we don't want you guys to feel overwhelmed. And I can tell you right now, my email box is filled with all these applications that everybody wants to give you for free. Oh, you know how free access to iReady, you have free access to iStation, you have free access to everything because everybody's at home. But if your students don't have the proper devices and they don't have the proper training, then they are not going to be able to use this material. So do I have any more questions that I can help you with today?
This has been excellent. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And like I said, one of the things that's really exciting is that I had a kindergarten teacher that made a Google Classroom, and she added her parents in, and she's posting little videos each day for the students to see. And that's one of the classes that we're going to be teaching, is creating some videos for your students. The other thing I wanted to share is this Zoom that we're on right now. You all are able to send this out as on a phone, as a phone number, and you can do a conference call with your students through Zoom. They won't be able to see your screen, but they can hear you. So if you wanted to have like 4 or 5 of your students on at the same time, you could do it through Zoom, like we're doing this video call. They actually do phone calls like this, and I'll be sending out directions on that also, if you're interested. Andrea or Rachel, do you have anything else to add?
I don't think so. Someone's commented that they didn't have any questions yet, but they'll contact us or you if they have any further questions.
Perfect.
I would say, I think you pretty much covered everything.
Okay. So I just want to make sure that you guys feel comfortable with this before you go out. So I know we're getting close to I didn't want to go over too much, and I know it's been 50 minutes, so I don't want to spend too much of your day on this, but make sure you check out the other webinars. And if you could please fill out that survey at the end, it would be great to hear any ideas you have and things that you want to post. Do you guys have any questions for us about anything? It doesn't have to be on Google Classroom. It could be on the Remind app. It can be on anything that you're having issues with right now. If you need any information, the one thing that I can tell you that we did share is that we have a blog out there, and we sent, it's under departments, and then information technology, and it actually says technology integration. And I don't know if I put it up here yet. I'll make sure I put a link to it. I just sent it out this morning, and it's on Remind, and it's all about how to upload a photo to Remind if you need to send something to your students, how to upload a video to Remind, how to check all the settings, like what adults belong to which students. This is a video right here. And then I do have the Google Classroom information at the bottom. Eric Kurtz actually created video tutorials on every single step of Google Classroom, which is on this blog also, which John LaPlante's going to be sharing today. So I just wanted to share with you that that's out there if you guys have any questions on Remind, because
So
that may, yes.
One question is, it says, one problem, I don't have correct phone numbers for students and parents. How can we get parents to give updated numbers?
That is a very good question.
It is.
I am not sure how to answer that. I really wish I could, but I don't. I know that if you do have somebody and maybe they're coming to pick up lunch, maybe you could let your principal know that you don't have this child's information. And if they're picking up food, maybe they can get the correct information from there. I can also tell you that some of the teachers have found that the phone numbers that we were given that says they say they belong to a student are not actually the student's parent. So in one place, the phone number was there. The person signed up for this. They didn't recognize the person's name because that was their contact information in our Dazzle system. So they had to delete the person because that was not the parent. So just be aware that that may be an issue too, and take care of it as you need to. But I would definitely let your principals know, because I think they're trying to collect that information to see what our next steps are. So that would be my best advice for you.
Okay, that's all the questions I see on here posted.
Okay, well,
I do want to, Tiff, I do want to let you know that there's someone that's just joining now, so you might want to recap that this is being recorded and how you're going to share that.
yes. So this webinar is recorded. We recorded everything from start to finish. You guys will be able to find it in that webinar link, and it will be right here under recordings. I will put the link right here, and you can watch the webinar on all the basics of Google Classroom. Okay, I hope you guys enjoy your day. I hope you enjoyed the webinar. If you have any questions, just email us and let us know. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.